Welcome to The Explainer. Look, today we're skipping the wishful thinking and unpacking a concrete, mathematical strategy to actually escape the rat race. We are talking about hitting financial freedom and doing it incredibly fast. We're going to focus entirely on a 9-rule paradigm shift straight from our source material. So if you want a clear, step-by-step roadmap to buying back your time, you are absolutely in the right place. Let's dive in.
9 years. That's exactly how long it took the creator of our source material to go from having absolutely nothing to achieving total financial freedom. But, and here's the wild part, they noted that if they had known the rules we're about to cover right from the jump, that timeline could have been compressed down to just 40 years. Crazy, right? Let's look at exactly how that compression happens.
Phase 1. The Maths of Freedom. We're throwing out those vague daydreams today where people just say, I want to be rich. Instead, we've got to anchor your goal to a tangible, mathematical target. Because, you simply can't hit a target that you haven't defined. So ask yourself, what is your financial freedom number? Truly imagine waking up tomorrow and you literally do not have to go to work. Not because you're on vacation, not because you're sick, but because your money makes enough money to pay for your entire life. We need to figure out the exact, specific number where that dream becomes a mathematical reality. And the magic number here, it's 25. The history behind this is actually super interesting. Back in the 1990s, 3 professors at Trinity University studied 70 years of stock market data. They looked at every crash, every recession, basically the absolute worst-case economic scenarios. They wanted to know the exact amount you need invested so you literally never run out of money. The answer? Simply multiply your yearly expenses by 25. At that multiplier, your investment grows faster than you spend it, practically forever. So if you spend, say, $40,000 a year, your concrete target is a clean $1 million. This brilliantly illustrates the $1 to $25 multiplier effect. Because of this exact formula, every single dollar you cut from your daily or monthly expenses equals $25 you no longer need to save to hit your target. Think about that. It is a massive multiplier working completely in your favor. Basically, shrinking your expenses actually shrinks the finish line. But where do you actually make those cuts? Look, stop stressing over canceling streaming services or skipping a $5 coffee. The focus really needs to be on the big 3: housing, transportation, and food. These 3 categories make up roughly 70% of the average person's spending. If you move to a slightly cheaper apartment and cut just $200 on rent a month, that's $2,400 a year. Multiply that by 25 and you just lowered your ultimate freedom target by an astounding $60,000. One big cut absolutely beats 100 tiny ones. Phase 2. Defending your gap. Now that we've got the math dialed in, we've got to protect it. This is where we shift from calculating targets to learning the defensive strategy required to guard your hard-earned money from your absolute worst enemy, which, let's be honest, is usually yourself. Let's compare 2 people here. Take Dave. Dave earns $10,000 a month, but he spends all $10,000. Now look at James. James earns only $3,000 a month, spends $2,000, and saves $1,000. So who's actually closer to financial freedom? It's James. Dave might look rich, but he is mathematically stuck forever. James might look broke to his neighbors, but his finish line gets closer every single month. The crucial takeaway here? Wealth doesn't live in your gross income. It lives entirely in the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Which brings us to a really silent wealth killer: lifestyle inflation. This is that trap where your income goes up, but your expenses go up right along with it. Let's say you get a $500 a month raise at work, and you celebrate by immediately renting a nicer apartment that costs exactly $500 more. You didn't get richer. The gap didn't change at all. You just gave a raise to your landlord and pushed your financial freedom number even further away. To protect that gap, you absolutely must build a solid foundation before you invest a single dollar. Step 1, save $1,000 fast. This just stops a cracked phone screen from turning into a credit card emergency. Step 2, kill high-interest debt. Step 3, build a 3 to 6 month opportunity fund. This is your hell yes money. It allows you to take a chance on a new business or maybe a cross-country job offer simply because you actually have the room to breathe. Let's pause on that debt piece for a second. Think about paying 15% interest on a loan versus chasing an 8% stock market return. It doesn't make sense to start investing when you owe high interest debt. If you're chasing an 8% return while bleeding 15% on a loan, you are mathematically losing money every single day. Paying off that 15% loan, that is a guaranteed 15% return. And no stock market index can promise you that. Okay, once your foundation is set, you have to deal with the anchors holding you back. This is known in psychology as the sunk cost fallacy. It's when you keep up a behavior just because you've previously invested resources, time, money, energy, into it, even when it is actively harming your progress today. You've got to stop dragging the dead weight of an expensive car payment or a terrible apartment lease just because you signed the paperwork in the past. The antidote to that fallacy is actually a really simple question. Ask yourself, if I were starting fresh today, knowing what I know now, would I make this same decision? If the honest answer is no, it's time to act. Sell the house, ditch the expensive car, break the lease. Look, I know it feels like a painful step backward, and you might feel like you wasted time. But cutting that dead weight is the exact thing that sets you free to move forward. Phase 3, the wealth mindset. Okay, you've defended your gap, you've dropped the dead weight. For our final phase, we transition to an aggressive, offensive strategy, and it starts with this amazing quote from Charlie Munger. All I want to know is where I'm going to die, so I'll never go there. This brings us to the rule of inversion. Instead of agonizing over how to succeed, our source material suggests you should ask yourself how to fail miserably, and then just ensure you avoid doing those exact things. So, how do we guarantee failure? It's pretty simple. Get a raise and instantly upgrade your car. Tell yourself you'll start saving next month and do that for a decade straight. Buy expensive things to impress people you don't even like. The major takeaway here? Avoiding financial stupidity actually beats chasing financial brilliance. You don't need some perfect, ultra-complex investment strategy. You just need to systematically avoid making these disastrously common mistakes. Now, here is where the advice gets incredibly counterintuitive. Rule 7. Do not diversify your income yet. I know, everyone tells you to start multiple side hustles or build all these passive income streams, but the source material is super clear on this. You can't master freelancing, e-commerce, and day trading all at the exact same time. You'll just end up being average at all of them, making tiny amounts of money here and there. You get rich by getting scary good at one single thing. Diversification is strictly a defensive move for protecting the wealth you have already built. If you don't have wealth yet, what exactly are you protecting? And this perfectly illustrates why you really shouldn't obsess over the stock market when you're just starting out. If you agonize over asset allocation with just $1,000 to your name, even a massive 20% return yields a measly $200 for the entire year. But if you take that same $1,000 and invest it into a certification, a course, or learning a high-income skill, that investment can yield an extra $1,200 a month in salary. The difference in return on investment is just staggering. So, the absolutely crucial point is this. At $0, you are the best investment. A broke person really only has one asset, and that's their time. If you're spending 10 hours a week researching stocks to make a $4 profit, you are basically working for 40 cents an hour. A minimum wage job pays way more than that. So ignore the stock market for now and heavily invest your time and your limited funds into upgrading your own skills first. Which leads us right to Rule 9, embrace extreme imbalance. We hear so much about work-life balance these days, but the truth presented in our source is that work-life balance is a lie sold to people who just want to stay comfortable. Think about it. Literally everything worthwhile you've ever done, from passing a massive exam to getting in peak physical shape, required a period of intense temporary imbalance. You lock yourself in a room, you follow a strict diet, you say no to things. To hit financial freedom fast, you do not need work-life balance right now. You need a season of work-work balance. And that brings us to the final, ultimate question of this explainer. Are you choosing a hard 4 years now or a hard 40 years later? Will you embrace the extreme imbalance, put in the hyper-focused work, and make those tough, counterintuitive cuts right now to achieve total financial freedom? Or will you stretch out that friction over a lifetime of working a job you don't really love just to stay temporarily comfortable? The math is there, the choice is yours. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this deeply challenges how you view your financial future.